Welcome everybody to the Latin Nerds Network. My name is Jose, and this is my review for Cocaine Bear movie. I was really looking forward to just to see how absurd this whole thing actually is, and actually let me say this, loosely based on a true story where I guess back in the '80s, some drug dealer was found, dead somewhere in Chattanooga, Tennessee, something like that. I know his parachute failed and he was being chased apparently in the plane. He jettisoned himself out. All the drugs went with him. He died, and the drugs were somewhere out in the woods. And apparently, a bear was found dead who snorted I don't know how many kilos and overdosed, died, and he was stuffed and pretty much became a tourist attraction. So it's based off that story, but of course, they take their liberties because the bear that does the cocaine here doesn't die. He just goes on a rampage, all cooked up, all excited. I mean, you can't get anything better, more ridiculous than bears and cocaine and ravaging people and so forth. So I wanted to see what Elizabeth Banks did with this particular story here, which again sounds stupid, ridiculous, and it is, to be honest with you, one that I was really kind of disappointed here. I really was, because that's a really good cast. This is actually Ray Liotta's last film. I think he passed away after filming this sometime last year. We have him. We got Shayo Jackson, of course. Ice Cube's son is in this as well. A good cast all around. Kerry Russell's in this as well. O'Shea Jackson and his partner, who's the son of Ray Liotta's character. That Ray Liotta sends him out to find the drugs. Those are his drugs, right? He's worried about what would happen by losing all that kind of quantity because of the Colombian connection that he has. So they go out in the woods to try to find it, of course, and they discover a bear has been snorting the cocaine, and people there who just happen to be innocent bystanders are getting mauled. And basically, that's the premise of the film, right? And listen, I expected something ridiculous and stupid, and that's exactly what this movie is. But I know this movie tried to be more of a comedy than anything else. And I don't know, man. I just wasn't laughing. It was that the comedy just didn't hit. The movie was interesting when the bear was mauling people to a certain degree, and there's some cool scenes with that. But it's very far and few in between. You get a quick shot at the beginning with the bear. There's literally about 30 minutes of just people walking around, people you don't give a shit about, talking and whatever. Where's the damn bear? We came to see cocaine and the damn bear. That's what we wanted to see here. But we does show up in screen. There's some cool over the top graphic mauling to some degree. There's one really cool scene. I'll give credit's due. Around the middle of the film, where starts off some kind of a park ranger cabin, and it's a chase in an ambulance, over the top and ridiculous. But that scene actually kind of worked for what it was, and I wanted more of that, to be honest with you. And I was just like, nobody was laughing in theater. And they were supposed to be, right? That's the point of this film. This film was more of a comedy. This is not a horror film. It's not, and it should have been. It's one where I think you can balance horror and comedy. We've seen it before. Things like Scream did it. Of course, Evil Dead 2 done it. Shaun of the Dead to some degree has done it. Where when a comedy works, it works. But then the horror aspects of it also hit, and you take them seriously. Here you don't. They're just ridiculous and over the top. They have no way. You just kind of want to see him, maul people up, and to some degree it does, but they don't show a whole lot of it, to be honest with you. But just enough to kind of get some oohs and ahs and out there. But I thought they could have taken more of that approach for more horror slasher film, but with a bear, obviously, chasing down people and really ratchet up that tension. And then give us the comedy, of course, obviously, right? But the conversations they get into are stupid. It's just not funny. They try so hard to be, and it's very kind of a 90s vibe kind of film. The film does take place in the 80s, so it makes sense. But it doesn't work. It's terrible. It really is. And I wanted this movie to be so good and entertaining. I'm sure some people are actually going to like it. If you liked absurdity and stuff like that, yeah, this movie will be for you. I mean, it's Cocaine Bear, right? Let's be honest. What were you expecting? I wasn't expecting anything more than just something ridiculous and fun. But sometimes, you see these movies that are so bad they're good. This is just bad, right? And the moments that should be there aren't, and the comedy fails. There's no horror intention like that. I do like some of the over the top nature of it. Sure, some of that worked, and some was funny at times. At times, what the bear does, and the one scene with the ambulance works. But for the most part, you don't get enough bear. This is the kind of movie you would literally have to go in on cocaine or any kind of other drug or marijuana or whatever, smoke it up, because get drunk. But I think something like that, this movie will work. It's the kind of movie you sit around your friends, you get high or something like that, and you put this movie on, and you'll probably enjoy it a lot more. But completely sober, yeah, I don't recommend that. It just didn't hit for me. This movie's not good, and it's and I wish I could tell you something different. It just wasn't for me. That being said, I think, if you're into that kind of thing, watching at home may be better. Again, get your friends together, order a pizza, get effed up, and then watch the film, and you probably will enjoy it for the most part. Other than that, I don't know if the large casual fan are really going to be into this film, which is kind of a shame because I like the premise. It's okay to have something ridiculous and over the top. You just gotta execute it right, and I don't think Elizabeth Banks. It was. I mean, she's as a director, she Pitch Perfect 2 was nowhere near as good as the first one. Charlie's Angels was terrible. So I really don't think she's meant to be behind the camera, to be honest with you. I guess she hasn't proven that, at least to me anyway. But that being said, because there's a funny and a good premise here, it's just not executed right, which is a shame. So that being said, I am not recommending this film. Again, not sober anyway. Drunk, I could see some entertainment value, and I really wish I can go back and really get sloshed up before I walked into the screening. But it is what it is. Don't recommend it. But if you see it, comment below. Let me know where you guys thought. And of course, if you haven't done so already, subscribe below and feed money to go to the movies and talk about it afterwards. See you guys next time.